today as president of the IOS. And our history goes back over 30 years, and he is actually part of this presentation. So let's go back. Where we were, where we are now, and where we're going with Indian ophthalmology and perhaps ophthalmology in general. So we'll start where we were. It was over 30 years ago that I was first invited to the IOS when it was held in Udaipur. It was actually at the Rabindranath Tagore Medical Center. That was a throwback to the 17th century, where we sat on cement seats in perhaps one auditorium. Just compare that to where we are today. This was the means of transportation. It was a very colorful, romantic area, and was my introduction to India. I loved it, and that's why I came back over 20 years, over 20 times over the past 30 years. This is a conference booklet. Please notice that the only mention of intraocular lens implants was an advertisement from Reina Ankila. Nothing else. India was quite unique in those days. I stayed at the Lake Palace Hotel. At that time, it was $29 a night before the Taj Group took it over. To make a phone call to the United States, I had to reserve a line 24 hours in advance. For an airplane, I could go to my destination, but I could not get a reservation for the return until they sent the request by plane to the destination, and that they would confirm that there would be a seat for me on the way back, because computers did not exist really in India, and that was also for the foreign airlines. We have come a long way. This was the group in the Cataract Care Center. I would say our surgical center. Here it is when I had dark black hair. Baba Moscati was the chief of ophthalmology at King Edward Memorial Hospital. Dr. Kano, he was the chief of public health and was instrumental in the railroad vasectomy clinics. We had quite a group then. Here's the pre-ops getting ready for surgery. Please understand the problem then, and it even existed for 20 years afterwards, was that India, for many reasons, had a huge number of cataracts. We're talking even in 1998 that there were 20 million people in India blind from bilateral cataracts, and another 10 million from just cataract in one eye. Add to that there were 45 million people here in India that were blind, in addition to cataracts, and I would say that they had visual disturbances, that they had visual pathology, and 12 million were actually blind. So India, for many reasons, population, the sanitation, the sun, the wind, the sand, vitamin deficiency, really had a huge number of blind people. In actuality, India had 1/4 of the world's population of blindness. And from that, there was a group that was formed, the Cataract Blindness Control Program, to attack this problem. And the problem still is present today. Our method of examination, that's probably all that was needed, was a little flashlight or torch, as they call it in India. Because the cataracts were so mature, it really did not take a slit lamp to diagnose it. Here we're giving some pre-op tonometries. Notice that I did have hair then. And we're getting ready for the retrobulbar injections, because everybody had it. There were no anesthesiologists present. Of course, we had to wash our hands, but this was with holy water. No gloves were used. I still don't know what the composition of the holy water was. I think it was a prayer. That was the composition. And here we had the group from King Edward Memorial Hospital that prepared all the instruments, sterile, boiled them up. Please understand that we went to areas where there was no electricity, no running water. We had to bring everything, including the generators, with us. And the cataract extractions, this was quite sophisticated because we were using cryo. The usual method that we used were capsular forceps and the Erisifate. Does anyone know what an Erisifate was? Good. Shows that you're plugged into the past. That was a little suction device that we put on the lens to bring it out. And the Indian and the cataracts had very little zonular support, so we did not get too many ruptures of the lens. Of course, documentation was critical. And here's the happy post-operative patients afterwards. We did not use lens implants for good reason in those cataract camps, but they did get +10, +12 glasses issued right away. So that's where we were. Of course, we celebrated afterwards, and Koresh, I think you noticed this beautiful woman. I believe it was prior to your wedding, wasn't it? Back in 1981. I looked for a photograph of you, but I think you were...
taking the picture.
That's right, you might have been the photographer. And naturally, we celebrated. Here's a photograph of your father. Those were the days. Eminent ophthalmologists came to help out. We introduced lens implants here. Extracapsular cataract surgery. Here's Jan Ross with me at a future meeting. We had Ken Kenyon come in 1983. Ken Kenyon is with us today. Theodorov was with us. Those were the heady days when Indian ophthalmology was on the rise. Here's the lens implants. Here's the worst medallion lens. I used it. Sutured to the iris so it wouldn't fall into the vitreous because they were intracapsulars, and the loops. And finally, Kelvin came out with this type of lens, which is even used today. So let's see where we are today. A lot of advancements have taken place. Nowadays, they're using the femtosecond laser. Here's Dr. Weber Tate, who was kind enough to invite me. And just compare that to what we did in the past. Here's Dr. Moscati operating at the cataract camp. And here I am at Advances in Ophthalmology during demonstration surgery. Aravind has been at the forefront of attacking blindness. With the World Bank, that contributed about 90% of the $130 million to India and another 10% from the Indian government. They're able to now, with efficiency and the techniques that are used, do a cataract operation for about $10. Amazing. Using lens implants made here in India that cost less than $5. High quality. And of course, they're very proud of the numbers that they perform. This is at Aravind Eye Institute. Harry Priya is operating over here, and you can see the ultra-modern equipment. People now come in by bus, they're shuttled in. We don't have to have those cataract camps in outlying areas. Cataract camps now are screening facilities. And also was mentioned before about the internet and the radio control of photographs, not only for diabetic retinopathy, but retinopathy of prematurity. Nowadays, these are the screening eye hospital, where again they bring in people, and India now goes out to other countries. Here it is in Africa, not Gulf Africa, where the Indian ophthalmologists, the SETIs, are traveling there to help the blind in other countries. And people from other countries are coming to Aravind for instruction on administration and in surgery. So India now is an exporter of knowledge. And do I have to say that the Indian ophthalmologists come to our meetings in the United States, and they're teaching us about cataract surgery, including Dr. Lasaba, who was here a few minutes ago. This is the work that's being done now, penetrating keratoplasty and DSEC. K-probes are being done. This is the Pintucci that Dr. Moscati has probably the most number in the world right now. And here I am with the Pintucci in Rome and in Florida. Here's the Dolman lens that's being used. Sama Basic is using it. Dr. Moscati is using it. Others are using it here. Rare de Sample. So where are we going now? Futuristic ophthalmology, and it's right here in India. India is now attacking the problem of education on the youngsters. We hopefully are doing the same in the United States. Here's the research institution in Arabic and the work that's being done. Molecular therapeutics, very important. I want to just talk about tissue engineering, replacement of defective cells with cultured stem cells. Duranga Sangwan, this is at Arvo in the United States, talking about his work with stem cells, it was alluded to earlier today. And here's my group. I hope you all come tomorrow at 3:30, hall F, for the genetics course. My group, Dr. Sunderson from Arabic, Chief Veterinarian, L.V. Prasad, Sharola Damaraj. She's at Moorfields and also in here in India, and me. And Dr. Aldavi will be with us too. This is the stem cell lab at Sankara Australia and corneal orbs. Research with parthenogenesis, with just a single opal, not fertilized. They're able to now culture corneas, still in the experimental stage. But please notice that the Krishna Kumar is working with the group in the United States. Krishna Kumar at Sankara Australia. And there'll be a genetics course later after this meeting here in India for those that are interested. So I want to thank you for listening to me. And right now, here in India and the world, we're off to the future. Thank you.